My name is Sarah Sanchez Kelly. I am the director slash writer for Bird Brain. In general, I am a filmmaker. I have my master's in filmmaking from Georgia State, and I've been a local filmmaker in Atlanta here for a few years now. But Bird Brain is a 10-minute live performance dramedy about a man who mysteriously dies and then is immediately reincarnated as a pigeon. And then he has to witness his estranged daughter learning about his untimely demise through the eyes of this bird. So that is the premise. Yeah.
And is there an origin story or an inspiration for this idea? Like, how did this come about?
Sure. So this project came out of a writing workshop that I did in grad school. Basically, I saw a pigeon fly into one of those big buildings downtown near Georgia State, and I just felt like he had a story to tell. So that's what this performance is about.
Yeah, we get inspiration from the weirdest places, so that's
Yeah.
I love it. So can you tell us what your history or experiences with XPT, experimental puppetry theater? Have you been to a show before? Have you participated before?
No, not personally. I actually have not been nor participated. I've seen shows at the Puppetry Center before, which is how I found out about XPT. I just follow the Puppetry Center on Instagram and then they posted about XPT and I had this play kind of in my mind and this idea and I was like, this is perfect, I think, for this project.
Yeah, so why puppets to tell this story?
Sure. Well, in film, it's such a pain to work with live animals. Uh, they really tell you not to do that. No, but I really love puppets. I've always loved puppetry. I'm really fortunate in that I've just really thought it is a cool art form. I've been to the Center for Puppetry Arts, obviously here in Atlanta. I've been to the Bob Baker Marionette Theater over on the West Coast. So I've had a little bit of experience seeing puppets, live performance. Obviously grew up with like Sesame Street and the Muppets. So I've always been really interested in working with puppets. I've always thought it was really cool and just a fun way to explore different kinds of ideas and themes and visual realities that are like in that practical, grounded kind of way, as opposed to, doing like CGI post effects. It's just really cool and fun to work with your hands.
Oh yeah. I think everybody's kind of over the CGI effects and just kind of love when effects are done practically. So, and then this is a live piece, so yeah, it's gonna be real curious to see how you handle the transition from man to bird.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Um,
Um, so you've explained a little bit about like your love for puppetry, but like do you have a history with puppets? You said that you're a filmmaker, so do you have any other creative hobbies that led you down this path?
Um, is specifically towards puppets. I've worked on another film where we did have to use the art of puppeting. And that was very hands-on art department for me in that role. Outside of that, I'm very much as a filmmaker, my ethos is like what we can do ourselves, like let's do it, which I think like kind of drew me towards like specifically puppetry, specifically XPT, because I feel like that real hands-on DIY approach to basically everything I do.
Yeah, I mean, puppetry is definitely a hands-on
Yes.
medium.
Yeah.
So what have you found that you've learned through this XPT process in putting together your own live show?
Sure. So my background, like I said, is more film as opposed to live performance. So that's been like a huge learning curve for me. Because it's like all this rehearsal and thinking about what the audience perspective is and thinking through um like timing and all these things that don't really come into play when you're filming like a short film, right? Because it's like you don't necessarily have months of rehearsal going into that. You maybe have like a few days of rehearsal or like if you get a chance to rehearse at all, sometimes actors are just coming onto set and they're like never talked to each other in their lives before. So, it's definitely fun in that way. It's a different medium. I'm excited to hear kind of like the live audience reaction to this performance. That's kind of the most exciting part for me, just because, it's one thing I think to screen a film in a room, but it's another thing to sit with everyone, like actively listening to something that we've I've seen all these people work so hard on and develop over this few weeks. Um, did that answer the question?
Yeah, yeah, what
Okay.
you've learned through the experience.
Okay,
Um,
yeah.
and so you didn't bring, I don't think you came in with the team. So you met a lot of your team through the volunteer meet and greet. So have you learned a lot through these people? Have you made a lot of friends? Like, what has that been like putting a team of strangers together?
Sure. At this point, I would say that a good amount of my cast, my crew now, is people that I've worked with before that had that kind of like theater and film background. But the people I've met through XPT, specifically in regards to puppetry, super just helpful and imaginative and creative, and they're so good at like creative problem solving and visually they are so um quick to just kind of pick up on what the vibe is, and I feel like everyone I've met through XBT really gets this piece, which is really exciting because I was a little part of me was like, oh God, like I hope people are interested in this. So it's been exciting to work with people who are like enthusiastic and just know way more about things that I have no clue about at all.
Yeah, that's what we love is like matching people up with their needs and their interests, and then just like, seeing the ideas form and people kind of bouncing off of each other. So that's one of the things I love about XPT is like strangers become lifelong friends just because you got matched with this weird thing. So, what are you hoping the audience will get after seeing your piece? What do you want them to take away from it?
Um, Bird Brain is a dramedy in that it is a comedy about one of the most insane hypothetical situations ever. So, one of the messages I hope people are able to take away is just to let them feel the feelings through the pain and uh you know uh just understanding different perspectives through hopefully comedy and through hopefully art, and kind of open their minds to different perspectives, I guess. I think that this Bird Brain is really it's it's unique in that it is definitely a piece with a message, but I don't really want to hit you over the head with it. I feel like when people come out of that experience, I hope that they like it, but
Yeah.
like I hope that they get. I think everyone's gonna get a little bit of something different with it. Personally, I don't think there's not like one overt thing that I want people to take away from it.
Yeah, I mean, like it could be a statement about, relationships, familial relationships, parental relationships, father-daughter relationships,
Hmm.
alcoholism, reincarnation. I mean, there's so many things.
Yeah, like and also like just utilizing your time and like like existentially like what do you want kind of to think about past your time here, and like what do you want others to think about you past your time here? I think that's also like one of the underlying themes. But yeah, anything. I think that every single person in the audience is probably gonna sit down and watch it and think of like a different thing.
Can you talk a little bit about the puppetry you're using to tell your story, and how you're using like different what's the puppetry you're using and how is it serving your story?
Sure. So we have a central pigeon puppet who is our main character. He is a pigeon controlled by two rods. One of the rods like moves his wings, and then the other one turns his neck. And the cool kind of part of the construction of this puppet is that we're using a lot of like found materials, a lot of recycling, wires and things like that that are kind of like scraps to kind of give this pigeon a very um like textural kind of vibe, but also kind of a gritty feel a little to him. He is definitely it's it's funny because our pigeon is realistically more the size of like a turkey if like in real life, but so it's not like this little guy. Uh, so that's kind of fun. But he's yeah, so two rods, and he's gonna be able to fly, he's gonna be able to kind of sit and turn his head. Um, I don't know what style of puppetry that's called too, like rods on a puppet. Mm.
Yeah, probably rod or mechanical. And then, but
Okay.
you have some, but you're using shadow puppets as well, right? Or,
We have cut that part, but
oh, okay.
it's like an animation sequence if you
Oh,
want me to talk about that.
sure. I mean, you've got a film background, so how are you incorporating film into your puppet piece?
Sure. So there are some animation projections that are going to be playing during certain parts, like the intro portion is going to be this animation of how our main character ends up the way that he does. And then there's also animations that are going to be projected to kind of simulate the flight of our bird. And it has that like city background. So it's going to be, I think, feel really outdoorsy, hopefully, or at least not outdoorsy like the woods, but outdoors like in a city, downtown kind of thing.
Okay, cool. Well, looking forward to it. Is there anything else that you'd like to add and let the audience know about your piece or about the XPT process? Is it something that you would do again?
Okay, is this my like pitched?
Yeah.
Okay, XPT is awesome. It's a great incubator process if you are an artist, if you want a launching point for a story that you have in your heart. Um, it's a really exciting learning process. Um, there's something to learn every single time that you talk with someone, every single step that you take, and it's Bird Brain has been a lot of hard work and a lot of fun, and this cast and crew are working so hard on it. So I really hope everyone comes and sees XPT. Yeah. Woo, XPT.